Ladies and gentlemen, you are now entering the Decent Christian Talk podcast. Enjoy.
Decent Christian Talk podcast number 14. Thank you for joining us. As always, just got back from Creation Fest, and man alive did we have a blast. We got to talk to so many people over the course of the week. Got to meet a lot of people, artists, bands, festival goers, festival directors, festival supervisors, staff, people from all over the United States and the world. So it was a lot of fun. We're going to be releasing these interviews over the course of over the summer and into the fall. We got a lot of good stuff for you guys. We're excited to share with you guys. Before we get to that, we need to talk about Soul Fuel, West Virginia. It is on the horizon, July 22nd through the 24th. David Crowder, who was at Creation and may have been one of the best shows of the week. Colton Dixon, Tripoli, Mary. There's going to be appearances by Pittsburgh Steelers star Le'Veon Bell and Marcus Wheaton. You guys do not want to miss this. There's great speakers, great teachers. It's going to be a great time. It's in Morgantown, West Virginia. If you guys are in that area, stop on by and see us. We're going to be hanging out there all weekend, running the stage and hanging out with you guys. It's going to be a lot of fun. For more details, go to soulfuelwv.com for tickets. It's going to be so much fun. We're going to be doing some recordings there as well. There's going to be a lot of fun chances to interact with you guys for those that show up. We're very excited about that. Before we get to the rest of that, we need to talk about our local area. For those of you that may know, DecentChristianTalk.com, Decent Christian Talk podcast, we are based in north central West Virginia, in the Morgantown area, not far from Pittsburgh, south of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Unfortunately, over the last couple weeks, not our area exactly, but just south of us, got hit really hard by a bunch of floods. So much so that I believe over 40 people lost their lives, including some young people. Just a really tragic story. A lot of people, hundreds and thousands of people, lost everything that they have. The area in the southern West Virginia was just decimated. Our writer partner, Brendan Gallagher, who's been on this podcast before, has been down there for several weeks, and there's just so much devastation. It's just really hard to explain. There are stores that are out of commission because they were flooded, and because of that, people can't get supplies. So supply trucks have had to come in, but the donations have been overwhelming, but they need to continue. And so I just wanted to have this opportunity to open up the donations for you guys. If you want to contribute to what's going on in West Virginia, the need is great. And I would just ask you guys just to give what you can. If you would go to DecentChristianTalk.com on your desktop or your laptop, if you go to the right-hand side of the website, there's a donate button there that's always there. But for the month of July, every dollar that is contributed to that donate button will be for the West Virginia flood victims. We will see to it that they get that money. So please consider doing that. go to decentchristiantalk.com and please donate. The need is great. And if you can't donate, I would just say please at least pray for those people that are really just trying to see where they go from here. Also some things that are worth mentioning. This podcast is dropping the week of the 4th of July. Switchfoot's brand new album has come out this Friday, which is probably the day this podcast will drop. Outstanding album. You guys need to check this out. It's something that I just had to mention. They're one of my favorite bands in the world. You guys have to check this album out. I'm sure it'll be on rotation for me for a good while. There's a lot of songs that mean a lot to me already, including Where the Light Shines Through, or the title cut of the album. It's a really good song. It's already being used as an anthem for a lot of tragedies that have happened, not only in our area in West Virginia, but also the tragedies in Orlando and elsewhere. So you guys, please go check that out. It's definitely worth it. So, to the meat and potatoes of this podcast, we interviewed Bread of Stone. I think the last day we were actually at Creation. And I teased something on our Twitter account that we were giving away a CD. And indeed we are. We're giving away the brand new Bread of Stone album that just came out last week. The guys from Bread of Stone were kind enough to donate a record for us to give away. So that's what we're going to do. And this is how we're going to do it. Go to our iTunes podcast. If you open up the podcast app on your smartphone and search Decent Christian Talk Podcast. If that's not how you listen already, do that and give us a 5-star rating. And the way that we'll know that is send us a picture of the review. Make sure you send that in, and we will pick a random person that reviews it and send them a CD. That sounds pretty easy. Get a free CD if you give us a review. We can only give away one, so just make sure whenever you do give us a review, make sure that you send us a snapshot of the review before you send it into iTunes. I think you can also do that on iTunes, like on your laptop or your desktop. But if you do have a smartphone, it seems to be easier. You can just go onto the podcast app and give it a review that way. And once you take that snapshot, you can just DM it to us, to our Twitter account at DC Talk Act 2, and we will pick a winner and announce it on the next podcast. So thank you guys. We got this interview with Bread of Stone. If you've not checked them out before, like I said, their album is brand new, just came out last week. Here you go. Bread of Stone, Decent Christian Talk Podcast.
Hit that horn, babe. Let's dance.
Time is like money, can't afford to waste it. Every day passes, can't erase them. Squandering hours, weeks and days with no change, no change. Take away all my illusions, take it all away.
All right.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm Ben.
I'm Gabe.
Gabe.
Josiah.
Josiah,
Yeah.
like the guitarist from Disciple,
No,
dude.
like Josiah from me. The Bible.
He actually was the guitar player for Spoken too for a while.
Yeah, he played for both of them on their last tour.
Yeah.
Who?
Josiah.
Not you, Josiah, but
Not me,
he,
Josiah. I
Josiah.
can't play the
He
guitar.
played
or
for
sing.
Philmont before that.
Okay.
I like Philmont.
So, like, 18 years ago this week, the Newsboys had a album release at Creation called "Step Up to the Microphone."
That's my favorite.
That's one of my favorite
album from
might
the
be my-
Newsboys.
Might be
Yeah.
mine too.
And 18 years later, you release Hold the Light
Yes.
at Creation.
Yeah.
I have it in my hands right now.
Why don't bands do this more often? It just seems
I don't
like it
know.
would make sense because
Yeah.
there's all these people here. So why did you guys decide to do this, to release it?
One of the biggest reason we decided to do this was because we do everything ourselves. We have one producer, Riley, which is a good friend of ours, to help with like some of the ideas and thought process. But my mother and I are doing everything on this, and so we're like, it's taking us some time to do this. And we said, okay, what would be the best day to release it? And we wanted to push ourselves, because if we put it on like maybe in August, then we're like, oh, okay, we got time. So we're like, no, let's release it July 1st. We're like, what? Which means we have to go way beforehand for iTunes, for duplication, for all that stuff. And then we talked to Bill Darpino, who is one of the executives here, and we're like, hey, we might be releasing. He's like, can you release it right on creation? Because like that'd be cool if we can have it as a premiere. So like, yeah, let's do it. So that's kind of like where it started from. And so we're giving away CDs at the Youth Pastor Oasis for all the youth leaders and stuff. That was part of the deal. And then the Camp Creation as well here for all the kids. So
people's attention spans are so short nowadays. So that's why I think it's even more important now to release it right at the festival while it's fresh in people's minds.
We've had the best response out of the years that we've been here and doing all the festival. This year has been the best response for all of this stuff.
I see Bread of Stone shirts everywhere.
Yeah, and hats. Don't forget the hats.
I've also seen them on crates at the French stage. How is that? Like, are you not worn out from doing
No. Well, right now we have other, like our crew is helping out doing a lot of other stuff. I still do. Last night I was here till the movie was over. They were watching, because I had to bring down our video wall, and I was like, oh man, it's so late. It's almost like it's 2 o'clock by the time I brought it down. But I'm good now, man. I'm awake.
That's good.
6 hours sleep's all I need, bro.
Yeah. Now, tell me a little bit about the Light Project, because I read a little bit about this online, and I just kind of wanted to hear your take on that, because it looked like, is it Thailand? Is that right?
Indonesia. Close. It's like a little bit more south of there.
Tell me a little bit about that.
So my brother and I grew up there. My dad is from there. And a few years back, we were presented with this opportunities. My dad said, hey, there's a friend of mine who has a church, but their church is based and comprised mainly of people who are scavengers, people who live out in the landfill. So financially speaking, their tithes is not capable of paying not even a small portion of it, And so he said, is there any way you guys could financially support? And we're like, sure. So that's how it all started. But when we go there about once a year. Spend about a month at a time in Indonesia. When we went there, we started realizing, man, there's so much opportunity for ministry here in Indonesia. And not only that, but I'm seeing the change that's happening, the people, how they're being receptive. And mind you, this is the world's largest Muslim in terms of population, right? 86%. And you think, oh, there's going to be so much obstacle. But you know what? When the Lord wants something done, He prepares the way for us. And so when we go there, it's amazing the way I see how they're desiring for this already, even before we present anything to them. And so when we go and share a bit about our life, and what Christ has done in our life, for them it's like, that's exactly what I want. And even though it might mean them leaving their family, it might mean their end of their life, it's so real to them that they want it. And so we started growing to more than just that area. In Bandung, we work together with House of Mercy and Mercy House, and what they do is they house women who have been sex trafficked or abused or raped and stuff, and they have a kid or two, and they're by themselves. And in that type of society, there's no way they could meet a single guy or whatever and get married. And women a lot of times are dependent upon their husband to have a decent living. And so this is a way for us to be able to house them and then educate the kids while the mom is trying to figure out what skill sets do I have and what can I do to contribute so I can make a living. So there's many things happening in Indonesia. We call it the Light Project because we feel that as a light, and it's fitting also with the album, All the Light, but the light, it's not about us and making a difference in the world. It's not about us changing people's life. It's really about the light of Jesus that's in us, that because we have that light, all the darkness around us automatically turns to light, and that's what's happening there. It's not us evangelizing and sharing the gospel and it's not.
It's just like
it's not.
lighting.
Yeah, exactly. If you're there, all around you will be bright.
Yeah.
And when it's bright, people will see and get attracted to the light. And that's what's happening there in Indonesia.
So for those that haven't ever heard of Bredeston, tell us why they should check out this album.
I personally like the album, which is
That's a good thing.
yeah. Which if the band likes the album, which is good. No, it's high energy. It's great sound. I love how my brother did the mixing and everything. It's really good. But more importantly, I think it's the message behind the music. We share whatever it's in our heart. When we're writing music for our album, whatever, we just start writing. We come with a blank slate and we say, okay, what's in our heart? What is the Lord trying to say? And we just start writing. So it varies. Some of the songs talk about a lot of different things, but the point of this one, as it boils down to, is that's what we call "Hold the Line," even though it's none of the track, name from any of the tracks. But it is all about allowing ourselves to be that vessel, allowing ourselves to be transformed, be changed by Christ, so that we can be that light.
How can people stay in touch with you guys?
The best way is to our website, breadofstone.com. You'll find all the links for all our socials there. But if you guys are up with all Facebook or Twitter, Instagram, we're all over that as well. We love to message back and write to people. Also check out our website for our ministry, lightourworld.org, to find out more about our ministry in Indonesia.
Cool. Well, thank you guys very much.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
No problem.
Appreciate
for
it.
your time. Decent Christian Talk at Creation Fest.
Yeah, I don't know what we're talking about. Gabe said, all right, let's record something, and he just hit record. So, I'm not entirely sure.
Well, we're at Creation, so we might as well talk about Creation Fest.
I guess. We're sitting here with Stephen.
Say hi, Stephen.
Hello. He's the one responsible for all of the band interviews that we've been doing.
He's probably sick of seeing us this week.
Yeah, we're camped out in his nice air-conditioned trailer.
It's very, it hasn't been that hot this year.
It smells good because Michael Tate was in here probably about 27 hours ago. Michael Tate's a very good smelling man.
He is. And
you can smell him on the DC Talk Cruise.
Yes.
It's coming up.
If you haven't gotten your tickets for that yet. So who have you liked so far? It's Friday.
I really liked NF.
Yeah, he was good.
He's much better live than he is on the recordings.
Okay. I liked For King and Country a lot. That was the first time.
I was at the War of Ages concert during that, and I really liked War
I went
of
back
Ages.
and forth between the two.
Well, I don't have the knees for that.
They were both really good. War of Ages was also good. Minus the broken neck that happened.
Oh, well, I mean, that happens at a metal show from time to time.
Did you see Sleeping Giant last night? They were really good.
I was at the Newsboys concert.
Okay.
I had to make sure Shane made it through. Our friend Shane came up and he probably had a heart attack when the drum set went up and spun around.
You've seen them before.
Yeah, but he's an excitable fellow.
So who are you looking forward to the rest of the time? About a day and a half left.
A day and a half left. Switchfoot, of course.
Yes.
Really want to see them. Disciples later today.
Tadashi.
Yeah. I'll be able to see Tadashi as soon as he steps off the plane. Forever. He's a big fellow.
Yeah, Michael W. Smith is tonight. A Christian musical legend.
Legendary. I wonder if he'll play Friends.
I hope not.
He probably hopes not either.
Yeah.
He hates that song.
I hope he does the candle lighting tonight. That would be nice.
Candlelight will be nice.
So
him and Crowder are both tonight.
We've all been here several years, and we've talked to a lot of people over the course of the last few days. What has been special about this year compared to other years?
I think I get to see it from like a different perspective a little bit, because I've worked the festival every year since I was 14.
Yeah.
but this year,
Kind of got to sit back.
yeah, I sit back and relax a little bit. I didn't work this year. I got to see a couple different things. Interviewing people was not as stressful as last year because you're here. Last year, Gabe texted me and he was like, "I just had a kid, so I can't make it. Sorry." So
Yeah. That's been fun to
Judah's here. That's fun.
yeah. 30 years after my first year at
Judah's-
Creation, Judah, my son, comes in his first year. Yeah, it's been cool to talk to some artists and over the last few days and get to know them and reconnect with some and get to meet some others for the first time. And
Judah really liked Red.
yes, he did. Red was really good.
Yeah.
I almost forgot how good they are.
What? Did you not listen to their new album?
I did, but I don't know. I mean, it was good, but I'm gonna have to go back and listen to it. I think.
It's really good.
But they played a lot of their old stuff too,
I was surprised they played their whole album.
pretty much.
Yeah.
They came out and played Pieces for the first song. which
That's
was-
my favorite song.
I don't know if you can say this on a Christian podcast, but that was pretty ballsy to start out with that song.
I think a lot of people were like, "Oh, it's a worship band," and then they played Faceless right after that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that was good.
Feed the Machine, something like that. Blew the stage up.
This is the first year I've been here since they started the metal stage.
You were here when they had it in the tent.
No, I was not here that year.
You weren't?
No.
That was a good year too. Like when Under Oath and Emery and Flatfoot 56.
I wasn't there.
They stopped having it in the tent because
Too many injuries.
there's a lot of injuries and heat stroke. I liked the tent though.
I like how it is now.
Um,
I guess especially since it's drier this year.
Yeah,
Probably
we had
helps.
a river. The guy from Spoken talked about that, how when he played here last, they had a river going through.
I'm kind of glad I was not here right after my newborn son on no sleep last year.
My shoes are still wet from last year.
Yeah, so we've got a lot of interviews to share with you guys.
7 Day Slumber, Spoken.
We're going to release those sporadically in the coming months.
Sporadically.
So be on the lookout for that. We got to talk with mainstream artists. We got to talk with indie bands that are just starting out. A nice wide variety
Yeah, just
for you guys.
we chase a lot of people down. We talked to Rival Choir, even though you told me
Yes.
we were going to do Phineas. I had all these questions ready for Phineas, and then Rival Choir showed
What
up.
happened was I was messaging these guys while on the Pennsylvania Turnpike, which isn't the straightest of highways.
But don't text and drive.
Also, you shouldn't text and drive. But I was sending like shortened messages with the help of my wife, and actually, I don't think she helped at all. I think it was just me.
She said she would have helped if you asked, but you were too stubborn. I think those were her exact words.
The reason why I was stubborn was because I was trying to get all the messages sent before I hit that patch in between the Turnpike and that there's no cell phone.
Yeah, if you use your GPS to get to Creation, you're going to get lost. Because there's just a spot where it goes crazy. We had a friend come up last night, and her GPS went crazy in that spot.
We also got to talk with a couple people at the festival that are not artists. We talked to one of the representatives from Pure Flix. We talked to the director, the legendary Pastor Harry Thomas.
Pastor Harry.
That'll be fun for you guys to listen to. That was probably a highlight for me, to be honest.
I liked all of his answers. He was a good interview.
Yeah.
I always stop and talk to him, but it was nice to sit down and actually talk with him.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's not someone that I mean, we wouldn't call each other friends, but he's definitely had an impact on my life as far as just,
He's the Billy Graham of music festivals. He started in 79.
Yeah.
And think of all the music festivals across the nation now. Creation was
that use Creation as the model.
The first.
Yeah, that's true. And I hope that it continues to do well. I know that the economy and the music industry combined are definitely changing, and people's interest in music doesn't seem to be as high as it used to be. But there's always people that there's that Creation family that people come back just because, that's an extension of their family now.
Yeah, I was just talking to my old traffic director when I used to work traffic, Ted. He's talked about the family. He never sleeps. He's always directing traffic. He's everywhere all the time. We might get an interview with him. We might not, because he's just...
If he can sit still long enough.
I saw him sit still and eat a slushie last night for about 5 minutes. And that was his meal for the day.
I need to get a slushie.
It's hot out. It's supposed to rain later, so maybe...
It's actually not been too hot this year compared to other years. I mean, I remember years where walking to the stage and I was drenched.
I remember years when I was walking to the stage and I was drenched, but that's because it was raining.
What is the, do you have a Creation pass-out story? Like, where you almost passed out from heat?
I remember
I
was at an Earth Suit concert one time, and they asked me if I was okay. And I was okay, but I was almost not okay.
I was in a mosh pit, I think the first year the Supertones played on the main stage. And I just remember coming out of the mosh pit, just like my pants were soaked. Like you could see moisture all over it because
it's probably not from you. It may be some other people.
It probably was some other people too, but I remember someone looking at me and saying, "Looks like you need to sit down."
Steven, have you ever passed out at a concert?
No, I haven't.
Steven has all the VIP passes, so he gets to sit down in the air conditioning.
He's also a great photographer.
Yeah.
So
we're going to steal his camera and put all the pictures up.
What else do you have to say about this year?
I really like talking to Seventh Day Slumber.
Yeah, that was fun. Not to give too much away, but we've talked to them before, but this time we kind of got to touch more on some
We've
topics.
Interviewed a couple bands that we've interviewed before, but these interviews are a little bit more fun because
it's in person.
Well, yeah, in person, and not only that, you almost feel obligated to get like where are you from, like all those stories. But once you interview them the second time, it's more like different stuff.
Yeah, they're a group that I mean, you don't have to ask them a whole lot of stuff.
No, they'll talk about it.
They'll talk about anything.
There's a difference between a Christian that's called to music and then a Christian guy that's called to ministry and uses music to do that.
That was one of my questions, like, how do you divide? Because a lot of bands will say that this is a ministry, and I mean,
then they'll go out of business.
I don't really buy into that, because I know that music is a business as well. But when they say music is a ministry, I believe them.
Yes.
And I was curious how they...
I don't know. We didn't get that question in.
No,
we have a time limit.
Steven
had a rope around our necks. Actually, it was Carolyn that time, I think.
Yeah, it was. But that's all good. We'll talk to them down the road again.
Yeah.
But I wanted to talk to them about music ministry versus the music business. How do you balance that out? Because I mean, yeah, they have to minister to. I mean, they don't have to, but they're in it for ministry reasons. But they also need to feed their families.
Yeah, well, their entire band is their family.
Yeah,
so.
That's how they make a living. So,
and we talked to the band that was just starting out, how they talk about they have to play every night just to get the money
to get gas in their car.
Yeah, but they love it.
Yeah, it's cool to see I mean, just a mix of veterans versus...
I mean, Spoken's been in there for 20 plus years. This is their 20th year.
Versus young artists that just...
You did XXI, or 21.
It's XXI.
It's XXI?
Yes.
Well, it's Roman numerals for 21.
Yes.
They're pretty young.
But it's cool to talk to those newcomers that are still fresh and they're not burnt out quite yet. Because a lot of times when you do the veteran artists who have interviews all the time, they kind of have rehearsed answers, and sometimes their interviews are not as fun.
That's why we always try to ask different questions that they don't normally get.
Like about Rival Choir's rivalry with Phineas.
Oh, Phineas and Rival Choir, they're pretty much Batman versus Superman kind of.
Which one's Batman?
I guess they can fight over that too.
Well, you would have a preference there.
Well, I like the Joker. He's probably my favorite.
Okay.
But Batman would definitely...
War of Ages might be the Joker at this point.
Yeah, that could be. They could be Two-Face or the Riddler.
All right, so be on the lookout for more interviews. We've got all kinds of them down the road. We are going to release them over the course.
Whenever Gabe deems necessary.
Well, and we're going to have other interviews coming up with Soul Fuel as well.
Yes.
That's in the middle of July. If you haven't got your tickets to that, go to soulfuelwv.com.
So subscribe, because if you don't, you might miss something.
We've got he's going to be a Soul Fuel, Colton Dixon, Triple E,
Mary.
Yeah, so
there's going to be some local stuff there as well.
The world famous Last Year's Model is playing.
But I heard they're good.
I heard their lead singer could use some work, but
maybe. You've got an ego problem there, probably.
All right, guys. Hey, thanks for checking us out. We'll see you next time.
Don't forget to tip your waiters and waitresses.
Don't forget to tip your waiters and waitresses. Thanks.